Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to work on two-way tables. Two-way tables is a frequency table. It's kind of like after you've done your experiment and we compare the outcomes that there was with the total number of possibilities. Now let's do something with these numbers. The difference is you're comparing four different things. So typically it's going to be like freshman and sophomore and yes and no, their answers of yes and no, juniors and sophomores and their answers of soda versus energy drinks and things like that. So we have something called joint frequency and then marginal frequencies. So our joint frequencies are going to be the answers that were given that's inside the table. And then your marginal frequencies are going to be the totals in the columns. The easiest way to get through this is to kind of just start doing some examples. So if we talk about example 1, they give us a two-way table about juniors and seniors and whether or not they ride the bus. It says find and interpret the marginal frequencies. And so that will be the totals. So we have a total and a total. And so our total of juniors, we're going to add the 38 and the 32, which will give us 70. The total seniors, 21 plus 44 is 65. 70 plus 65 is 135. We're going to add the columns. 38 plus 21 is 59. 32 and 44 are 76. And just to double check, 59 and 76 should equal 135. And it does. So some things that we know based on the marginal frequencies, because all of these things in red that we just added up are called marginal frequencies. They're the totals. They want us to interpret these. So if I start over here, we said 70 juniors responded, 65 seniors responded to the survey, 59 juniors and seniors ride the bus, 76 juniors and seniors do not ride the bus. A total of 135 juniors and seniors responded. So that's everything that we know about those values that we found for our marginal frequencies. So let's do the same thing for our tablet computer versus cell phones. So it's asking about the technological devices they own. So do they own a cell phone? Do they own a tablet computer? And so on to try to compare. So we're going to have, again, our totals. I'm going to have to squeeze this in with this bar that's here. So 34 plus 124 is 158. 18 and 67 is 85. 34 and 18 is 52. 124 and 67 is 191. And then for our grand total, remember we want to add the 158 and the 85 to get 243, and then double check. Does 152, I'm sorry, does 52, because that's part of this, 52 plus 191 also equal 243, and it does. So we found our marginal frequencies, or the totals. Now interpret them. So 158 total students had cell phones. 85 students did not have cell phones. 52 students had a tablet computer. 191 students did not have a tablet computer. 243 total students responded. All right, so now we're going to fill in. We conduct a survey that asks 286 students in our freshman class if they play a sport or a musical instrument. Well, we know our total has to be 286. Because remember, we've said on the last two that whatever is in this lower right-hand corner is the total of people who responded. 118 of the students play a sport. So sport, yes, we'll have 118. 64 of those students play an instrument. So 64 students play sports and an instrument. So our 64 goes in the yes and the yes. 93 students do not play a sport or an instrument. Now we have to figure stuff out. Well, we know that 64 plus whatever this no is got us to 118. So 118 minus 64 gives us that 54 play a sport but do not play an instrument. I know that this total, 286, came from 118 plus this missing box right here. So 286 minus 118 is 168. I also know that this total and 93 have to also make 286. So 286 minus 93 is 193. So now I can subtract 64 from 193 to get 129, and 54 from 93 to get 39. Add 129 plus 39 and make sure it equals that 168, and it does. You try the P2 on the back of your page. Relative frequencies. So now when we're talking about relatives, so the difference between the front side of your notes and the back side of your notes, because they're using a lot of the same words, is that part relative. And basically what it's saying is that we want the decimals or percents of our answers, and that our total row or total column should be 1 for 100%. So we're doing all the same stuff that we did. It's just we're transferring everything now into decimals. So I'm going to take a look at our freshman, sophomore total in all of these. So to find the joint and marginal relative frequencies, Our freshmen, we would have 55 out of 152. Sophomores, 63 out of 152. And then our total is 118 out of 152. When we divide these to get the decimals that would go in place of these values. So that's what we're moving towards in our samples. So we have majoring in a medical field, two-way tables, and then on the one side we have the values filled in. So we know that it's 124 for the juniors and the yes, out of a total, well, we don't know the total yet, so 124 plus 219 plus 101 plus 236 gives us 680. So we have 124 out of 680, 101 out of 680, 219 out of 680, and 236 out of 680. When we do that division in our calculator, we have 0.18, 0.15, 0.32, 0.35. Find our totals. If we add 0.18 and 0.15, we get 0.33. 0.32 and 0.35 are 0.67. 0.33 plus 0.67 makes a total of 1. And remember, that's what our goal is. Our goal is to see that our total here is 1 of our marginal relative frequencies. 0.18 plus 0.32 is a half, 0.5. 0.15 plus 0.35 is a half, 0.5. 0.5 plus 0.5 is 0.1. So yes, all of this makes sense that in our marginal relative frequencies, we get a total of 1. All right. So for practice 3, we again have the in-state college for juniors and seniors. The first thing we need to do is find the total that would be in our lower right-hand corner. So 142 plus 170, 204, and 124 gives us a total of 640. So we'd have 142 out of 640, 204 out of 640, 170 out of 640, and 124 out of 640. Oops. Sorry about that. And that's how we're going to start with getting our joint relative frequencies. So we have junior, senior, and total. And this is going to be yes, no, and total. This is class. And then above here is in-state college. Sorry, I'm having to squeeze to make sure I have enough room. So make sure you have lots of space on your paper. All right. So 142 divided by 640 is 0.22. 204 divided by 640 is 0.32. 170 divided by 640 is 0.27. And 124 divided by 640 is 0.19. So those are the joint relative frequencies. Now for our marginal relative frequencies, those are our totals. So we add 0.22 plus 0.32 is 0.54. 0.27 plus 0.19 is 0.46. Add 0.54 and 0.46 and we get our magic 1 there. Coming across this way, 0.22 and 0.27 is 0.49. 0.32 and 0.19 is 0.51. So just double check 0.49 and 0.51 add to 1, and they do. And so we are good. And those are the marginal relative frequencies. We will work on that last one in class tomorrow. Please bring the rest of this in. Thank you so much. Have a great night.